Title: The Hourglass. In the small town of Eldridge Hollow, nestled between barren hills and thick woods, 12 students stood at the threshold of their senior year. Aria Dunne was among them, an unsuspecting girl who spent her days dreaming of the world beyond the woods and the shadowy secrets they held. She had always felt the peculiar pull of the forest, a constant whispering lure that beckoned her. However, as summer days dwindled, the promise of a new beginning shimmered in the air. On the first day of school, Aria and her friends gathered in front of Eldridge High, their laughter resonating through the crisp morning air. The year unfurled in a whirlwind of activities, homecoming dances, basketball games, and endless studying as they approached their futures. But with each passing week, something began to change. An eeriness crept into their lives, a subtle tingling that made them glance over their shoulders. Then came the day of the autumn festival. The town transformed under the glow of lanterns, the scent of caramel apples wafting through the air. As night descended, a carnival ride twisted into the sky, and Aria and her friends dared each other to ride the old Ferris wheel, rumored to be haunted by the spirit of a girl who had vanished years ago. With laughter and challenges, they climbed into the creaking seats, settling in as the wheel began its slow ascent. And then time buckled. With a sudden jolt, the ride came to a halt at the very top, the world beneath a blur of lights and revelry. Everything around them faded, the laughter drowned out in an oppressive silence. In that stillness, Aria's friends began to panic, their voices rising into screams that echoed in the void. Without warning, darkness enveloped them, and in a heartbeat, the scene shifted. Aria blinked. She was standing at the entrance of the carnival once more, her friends at her side, unaware of the incident just moments ago. Confusion tangled with fear, but laughter erupted once again as they headed toward the Ferris wheel. Again, they rode, and again, they halted at the top. Time slipped through their fingers like grains of sand in an hourglass, the cycle repeating itself. Each loop revealed more about the hourglass within the old Ferris wheel. The spirit of the girl, Amelia, ensnared by its magic, had made her mournful wish. She wanted company, so she'd ensnared others in her sorrowful realm. As the endless loops continued, Aria began to notice things. Cracks in the sky where shadows lingered, echoes of the past bleeding through, and the pangs of urgency to break free. Each time the ride began again, the town remained the same, yet the feeling of dread deepened. Her friends were oblivious. They'd grown accustomed to the anachronistic nature of their existence, their laughs laced with tinges of despair. Determined to save them and herself, Aria sought the source of the curse. She remembered stories of Amelia, the girl who had bound herself to the Ferris wheel, eternally paying for her desire. Aria spent her days discovering old tales, digging through the town's archives until she found a fragile note tucked away in an ancient book that spoke of sacrifice. The only key to freedom was unleashing Amelia's bitter hold. The night of the festival loomed closer, and Aria devised a plan. She urged her skeptical friends to confront the spirited girl, explaining their predicament. They hesitated, their eyes reflecting confusion. But when the souls of those they'd lost in previous loops appeared as specters begging for release, they agreed to help her. That night, they gathered at the Ferris wheel. With hearts pounding, they took an oath under the moonlight, surrendering their fear and inviting Amelia to share their stories of loss and longing. Aria stood at the forefront, admitting her dreams, divulging her yearning for adventure. As they spoke her name with compassion, tears pooled in their eyes, connecting with Amelia's sorrow in a way that had never been done before. Then, in the heart of the dark, the hourglass shimmered with a surreal light, the spirits churned with energy. With a piercing scream, Amelia manifested, swirling in a maelstrom of anger and despair. But instead of fear, Aria held out her hand. She felt for the girl's heart, her own trembling but steady. In that grip of hope, light exploded from the Ferris wheel. The ground beneath them cracked and trembled as the magic of the pact gripped the night. Aria and her friends collectively felt the bonds breaking. Time unraveled like a tightly wound thread, each dimension flipping and cascading, revealing the beauty of freedom. In a rush of brilliance, they found themselves on solid ground, breathing in the crisp autumn air, the sunlight splashing upon them as the first rays of dawn broke through the horizon. The Ferris wheel stood still, silent, but in its remnants, the echoes of Amelia faded. Eldridge Hollow transformed, vibrant and alive. The festival resumed, laughter blending with the rustling leaves. Aria looked at her friends, smiles blooming on their faces filled with the knowledge of their escapes. They were no longer bound nor haunted. The hourglass had finally shattered, setting a girl's spirit free while they embraced their own future with every step, reminiscences of darkness behind them, and the promise of endless possibilities ahead.